APPAC for having me today, but most important for everything you do for our community in New Jersey. Dr. Ijaz, Dr. Mahmoud, it's wonderful to be with you as always. And it is a particular honor for me to be able to sit with and listen to Khizr Khan. I've never met you before, but I can tell you that when you gave that speech at the Democratic Convention in 2016, I was watching. I had no idea who you were or what was about to happen, but it froze me. It froze me because, well, I'm an immigrant as well, from a country that has had its own share of troubles in its history, the country of Poland. And your speech was not the reason, that was not the day that I decided to run for Congress. I thought Hillary would win. I thought we would be okay. I didn't know it would be necessary for me to do this sometimes crazy thing. But your speech was the reason that I ran for Congress. What you said was the reason that I ran for Congress. And now here I am, since 2018, representing the 7th District in New Jersey. Anybody from the 7th District here? There we go. You didn't, we asked about Islamabad and Karachi, and I want to ask about Bridgewater and Somerville. Montgomery, yeah, go Montgomery. And you wouldn't necessarily know it, and I think many of my neighbors don't know it, but 20% of the people who live in the 7th District were born in another country. When I go to high schools, and I try to go to schools all the time now as a congressman, I always ask the kids, raise your hand if you were born outside the United States, and lots of hands go up, and then I ask them, raise your hand if at least one of your parents was born outside the United States. And everywhere in my suburban and rural district, more than half of the kids' hands go up. That's the district that I represent. Now, how do I represent them? The first thing is to remember that the most important thing we all have in common, all the people I represent and me, is that we are all Americans, and we are all New Jerseyans. We all want the same things. We want our kids to have better schools. We want our kids to have a better chance to succeed than their parents and their grandparents. We want clean air. We want clean water. We want trains that run on time. We want roads that are fixed. We want to get rid of this horrible pandemic and get this country on its feet again. And so what I do for my community of people from Pakistan and India and Poland and China and Honduras and Guatemala and all over the world is to deliver on the same things that I would deliver for anybody who has 4, 5, 6, 8 generations in the United States. And I am incredibly happy to be able to tell you we are delivering right now. That infrastructure bill that Congress passed, finally, bipartisan infrastructure bill, which will build the Gateway Tunnel. It will revitalize New Jersey's economy. It will fix our ports. It will get our trucks and our cars and everything, our trains moving again. It's exactly what the doctor ordered for the state of New Jersey. And President Biden's Build Back Better bill, which will bring equity and equality to our country, which will make us a leader in the fight against climate change, which will make healthcare less expensive, prescription drugs less expensive. All of the things that the voters sent me in Washington to do, we are doing in that bill. Oh, and by the way, we're going to get our state and local tax deduction back for the hardworking homeowners in New Jersey. That's something I fought for in that bill. And so when I think about the people I represent who were born somewhere else, that's where I begin. But there is something else. I think there is something else that we in this room know that maybe some of our friends and neighbors whose families have been in this country for many generations don't think about as much as we do. When I was elected and I went to Washington, I took the oath of office. I put my hand on a Bible, I raised my right hand, and I swore an oath to the Constitution. And for most of my colleagues who were elected in 2018, that was the first time they ever took that oath. It was not the first time I took that oath. The first time I took that oath, I was 10 years old in the courthouse in Newark, New Jersey, when I was sworn in to become a citizen of the United States of America. The same oath that a congressman takes, the same oath that the President of the United States takes. I know many of you took that oath, and if you didn't, your parents or your grandparents did. We are all from families that are unique in the sense that we chose America. We chose America. And when we chose it, we had to embrace the values of this country. We had to do it consciously. Some of us as 10-year-old kids at a courthouse taking that oath. We didn't come here just because America was a wealthy country, did we? There are many wealthy countries. We didn't come here just because this was a country where we could be successful doctors and lawyers and engineers and business owners. You can do that in a lot of other places around the world. We came here because this country stood for something unique and special in this world, because the United States is a place where nobody is above the law and nobody is beneath the law. We came here because the United States is a country where it doesn't matter who you are, what religion you practice, what you look like, how you dress, what food you eat. We are all treated with dignity and respect, or we are supposed to be, when this country is at its best. And because of that understanding, I think we also have a unique sensitivity when things go wrong. We know what happens when politicians start blaming immigrants, people who look and speak differently for the problems of their country, because we saw that happen in the countries we came from. We know what happens when violent rhetoric starts seeping into political argument and debate. We know that violent speech eventually leads to violent action. And right now we see these things happening. For the last several years, we have seen these things happening in our country of America, and we are sensitive to that. And that's why I ran for Congress, because I wanted to do something. And so I can assure you, so long as I have this privilege of representing many of you in the United States Congress, while some people are trying to build walls, I'm going to be building bridges. And tunnels. And a lot of other things. When some people are trying to shut down the government because they don't want us to be fighting this pandemic, I'm going to be trying to use government to help people. When some people are talking about insurrection, I'm going to be talking about infrastructure. And at every single stage in my career, I'm going to remember the oath I took to the Constitution of the United States, to the values that make this country great. What we all have in common, whether we come from Warsaw or Karachi, is that America gave us a chance. And we know that at times like this, it may fall to immigrants to save America. To immigrants who understand the unique value of this country's democracy, and who also understand the fragility of this country's democracy. That is what I'm going to dedicate myself to. I dedicate all of you to that today, and I look forward to getting to know more of you tonight and as the years go on. Thank you so much for your support.